Hi, it's Manuel at AACU Church. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and um, put the little hand. I always do at the beginning, and if I don't like the show, I change it to the upside down hand. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about a site that's on here. I know, just don't watch it, but it starts out good, then it goes bad, and it's called Jubilee. What they do is they go over and they find a topic. Today's topic was about um, teachers, and they went and got three teachers. Of course, they got three teachers to care. So, topic was not realistic. Then they got three students, one that's graduated, one that's about to graduate, and another one that's, semi going to graduate too, but she's real productive. And then they start the conversation about good teachers and bad teachers and blah, blah, blah. And they come out with, well, those teachers that really don't care, really do care. You're their favorite student and give you a whole bag of beans. And then they give you topics, and each one talks about the topics and everything, and it just sort of, they don't quite go there. It lames out. So then they go back to their corners, then they come back when they think that they have something to contribute to that information, and at the end the other person comes and sits down with them and they do the same thing and said, well, I thought it didn't include me, but it really did, so I still didn't come down until I was supposed to. And then they have the conversation, and in the conversations they were talking about teachers not caring and all that kind of stuff. And the reality is, I think some really do care, but most teachers, they do care somewhat. But what they do is they put their whole bag of beans in one jar. And then after they do that, if they bother to assist the other students, they think, well, these students, I've already classified them to go to college, so why should I waste my time on the other half that are not going to go to college? Or, in other words, the other students are not important enough. Well, I had a teacher that way, but in my case, I was really good in math. I mean, really good. And I had this teacher only for math. So there was a friend. She was a friend um, in the beginning of my life. But later on, I don't know. Anyway, she cheated from me. And this teacher couldn't signify that I was not the one cheating. So what she did was she pulled me aside in front of everybody. And she says to me, I do not tolerate cheating. And I said, good for you. And she says, well, you cheated here, so I'm going to give you an F, a failing. And I said, I didn't cheat. And we had a big fight, and in front of everybody. And I turned to her and I said, I know my brother had you in other courses in that course. And he told me that he didn't like you. You weren't a very good teacher and to watch out with you. And she goes, what? And I said, yeah. And for every test, you had a duplicate test that was even harder, or maybe not harder. But you had this test had an opposite test, and you had three of them. You could give me one of the ones that you didn't give me and see if I pass it. If I do pass it, then you were 100% wrong, and you have to say you were wrong in front of the class. She goes, I'm not going to do that. I said, of course you're not going to do that, because you know you are wrong. You dishonored me by doing what you did. And she was all a shock. And, well, I said, hey, the only person here that's going to get either a better grade or a worse grade is me, not you. I said, these kids, we're all going to move on. We will never see you again. Well, we might see you in the field. But the point is that we are not going to be coming back to your class. So she gives me the test. I do even better on this test. And the only reason I did better was because I did the extra question, which I hadn't done in the other. I answered the whole test, got 100%, and didn't do the extra. Well, this time, not only did I get 100% again, and it was a harder test, I got the extra points. And she just got so surprised that she was wrong. And she apologized and then went and said to me, that was the next day in class, she said to me, I thought you'd cheat. And I said to her, why would I cheat on the only subject that is so easy for me? I said, the other ones I have to work like crazy. I don't cheat there either, but they're harder. This is the one class that it's easy for me. So we moved on. She had to go and give my friend a worser grade because she did not pass at all. But to be honest, I didn't know who they were talking about, who was cheating from me, that she was blaming me for cheating from. But I didn't care. It was later on where I found out that she had cheated from me, and I was like, I didn't care. I wasn't mad or anything. Then my 8th grade course, I was getting ready to get out of school to go to high school, and I had this retarded teacher. And he wasn't really retarded, it's just that he treated everybody badly. He was still childlike in mind and would try to make his courses more fun or whatever. The ice cream truck would go by. He would say, whoever could name the song the ice cream truck was playing, they would get a free soda pop. He'll go all the way downstairs. And I like that he had to run all the way downstairs because he hated to walk. He wasn't fat, but he wasn't skinny either. So I would tell the people around me what the name of the songs were. And he would run all the way down, go to the teacher's lounge, get a soda pop, come all the way up and give it to that person. So then one day, um, a bicycle built for two was played, and my friend goes, Manuel, I could really use a soda pop. And I said, oh, that's a bicycle built for two. And I'm finishing my homework. I used to do my homework during that hour. It was, I didn't know what it really was. He didn't have anything to go, so we would do our a free time for homework, and I would, or his homework, or his work. I don't know. But anyway, I was doing his homework, and I was getting through that. And she goes and tells him. He goes and puts the soda pop on her desk, and he says, well, that's pretty good. You knew that song. And she goes, oh, I didn't know it. He goes, well, how did you guess? He goes, oh, everybody asks Manuel. He tells us, and then I run all the way down. I mean, then you run all the way down and you bring us a soda. He thinks it's funny. And and he goes over, and I wasn't paying attention, and he says, why aren't you doing this for yourself? And I said, what are you talking about? And he says, well, I want I offer everybody a soda pop if they can name that song. I said, well, I don't want a soda pop, so why would I answer your question? I'm doing my homework. I'm into doing my homework, trying to get it done so I don't have to take it with me home. I can go home and I can enjoy being with my family and my dogs. And he goes, oh. I said, yeah, I knew the name of those songs. He says, all those songs are classic old songs that they sang in music theory. I said, remember, you made me drop music chorus, and I stayed in band. And I told him like that. I like band. It's fun. I'm in honor band. I'm in talented arts program band. I'm also in our school's tiger band. So, to get even with you, I tell everybody the name of the song. You run all the way down and come back up, and I get a little back for you making me not join honor chorus, not be in the chorus, and also not to be in the music theory course that there is now also, and all that. And he says, well, your grades. I said, my grades are fine. I said, I've kept them up and I can get away with this. And I'm learning. And he was always bugging me. His big thing was, I don't know, oh, let's see how I can get Manuel mad. So then one day he goes and says, Manuel, your mom wears combat boots. And I said, and I was finished my homework finally. And I turned to him and I said, and your father wears high heels and he lends them to you on weekends. And everybody started laughing. He got really mad and everything. And then at the end of the year, he says, see, if any of you guys who shouldn't be going to college, and he looks at me, um, go to college, it'll be because of me. And I turned to him and I said, no, if any of us go to college, it's because we know we can do the job, not because of you. Because of you, a lot of these kids won't even try to go to college and improve their chances to a better job because of how you treat people. Then I graduate, go to high school. High school, I love school. Go to high school. And the first wall, I should have paid attention. I didn't. I go to school. I find out they are screwing me in math again. My best field. They gave me beginner's math. I'm doing algebra, college algebra, and grammar. So now I'm in high school and they're giving me beginner's math. And I go and I tell the lady that, can I test out of this course? She goes, oh yeah. She gives me the test. It doesn't go any further than her course though. I pass it. She moves me up. So then I go into intro to algebra. And I tell her, okay, I need to test out. And she goes, oh no, you can't test out. You know, it's good to get a refresher. I said, I don't need a refresher. I'm doing college algebra and grammar. I want to continue. You have a teacher that teaches college grammar. College algebra. I'd love to go over, take his courses, so I have to test out of your class. She refused to do it. I went and got the book. I filled the book out and I threw it on her desk. It only took me 15 minutes to fill the whole semester book. I said, here, you can use this as your teacher's guide. So she's, you know, giving her a hint to test me out. I'm still enough time to go to the next level and get tested out a couple of more times so that I could be over there. And she refused. So every few minutes, she would do a thing up there. And when she finished writing it, I would tell her the answer. And she'd go with her eyes all big and she would start another one. She'd erase it. She'd start putting another one. And then I would tell her the answer. And she'd get her so mad. You're not the only one in this class. I said, yes, I understand that. But I'm the only one that shouldn't be in this class because you have nothing in this world you can teach me. Giving her a hint to test me out still will not test me out. Finally, we end up in the principal's office. Knowing she cannot test me out anymore, she waited too long, playing her games. We're in her class, in her office, and the principal tells me, which is a real smart woman, not a dumb woman. She worked her way there. She did not do like a lot of people and do shortcuts. I loved her. She was a great person until they yanked her out of the school and stuck her somewhere else because she kept keeping her school alive and fighting. They wanted to close it down, even though the whole district was named by that school. So anyway, she goes over, asks, what's going on? And I told her. I said, this teacher refuses to teach. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, well, you're supposed to test me out if I come in and ask you to test me out because you're not at the level I'm at. And she thinks, well, a fresher course. No, a fresher course doesn't work that way. When you're doing college math in grammar, you don't want to take intro to algebra. And she goes, oh, you're right. But it's already too late for you to. I said, exactly. She refused to do that. And then I went and took my book and I put it on her desk. I said, I finished that in 15 minutes of her class. That was the first day of her class. And then why didn't you test him out? She goes, well, I think that everybody needs a refresher course and everything. She goes, it doesn't, the teacher, the principal says, it doesn't work that way for some students. And we can see it's not for him. And she goes, plus he won't do the work. She goes, what do you mean he won't do the work? I said, she goes and she writes uh, a long mathematic problem. And I turned and I tell him the answer. And there's a piece of paper and a pencil. And they stay stationary. And my principal goes and she goes, well, why didn't you write it down? I said, because I don't need to write down. As I told her, she didn't have anything to teach me. What she's doing is below my level. I said, let me give her something that I was doing in grammar. And I went and I put up the thing and I wrote it up. And I put the piece of paper and the pencil in front of her. And I said, there you go. Do that answer. And she's there, and they're all actually, I can see in their minds they're having a hard time with it. And the principal leans over to me and she goes, well, what's the answer, Manuel? I said, it's 6. What do you mean it's 6? Well, what I did was I took her answer to that question, to the answer to her, and put it on mine. So all she had to do was put her own answer in that answer spot, and there you go. Even though I worked it out where she had to multiply, divide, add some addition and some subtraction, and by when you finish, you ended up with the same answer she needed me to write down. But you see, hers is so easy, I don't need to write it down. Why am I going to write it down? Because everybody else, yes, that will take more time, and I guess it'd make her happier, but why am I trying to make her happy? I want to learn. And from her, she has nothing for me to learn. She's wasting my time. And then my principal says, if you pass her class, you don't have to take any more math until you go to college. And I said, but the point is I'm not going to be learning it. I said, I don't know how to explain this to you guys. I want to learn. I enjoy learning. Yes, I am taking other courses. I can stationary to those, but I'll be wasting my time in her class. I said, everybody else needs her class. I don't. I need to be far up in the mathematic learning scale than in her simple-minded class. I don't need a piece of paper to answer those questions. And I said, and I'm just wasting my time there. So while all they could do was tell her, you give them an A, put an A, a line across telling them that it's an A plus for his thing, and for his final thing is the full pass of your class. And she goes, but I can't do that. The teacher said, have you looked at his book? No. Well, see, you failed all the way around. First, you didn't help your student out. Second, you didn't even bother to look at his homework. You've already failed him before he passed. She goes, put an A, and she had her book on her. She went over, let me do it. She took her book, put a whole bunch of A's all the way across, A pluses, and then she put on the last thing an A plus of the information, what they needed for the passing of the class. There, he passed your class. He will not be interrupting your class anymore because he don't need to be sitting there. You literally, from what I can see, don't have nothing to teach him. So The only thing I could do was forget about that course. I wasn't going to be able to go to the next level. They put a wall there. So then I passed all those things. Then I go to college and they put in an intro test. You go sit at the computers, and there's no way to pass these tests because the computer program is failing you. And it, even if you put the right answer, it still says it's wrong. So then we go tell them, we take her course, and I'm like, oh no, not this. So I told her, I told the principal, we went over there, the dean, and I said, look, I've already been through this in high school. I don't want to go through this again. I need this level of mathematics to pass. And I told her, so I can get my degree in fashion design and fashion merchandising. And I also need all these courses. I need this level. And she says, oh, well, the test doesn't work. And I said, if you go and take it and pass that test, then we'll all shut up. So she came down with us, sat down at the computer, and she knew the answer. And it said she was wrong. And she goes, okay, um, you guys, we're going to have you, this teacher who was the one that stood at the computers, she's going to teach you one course and we're going to see how you pass. If you pass the thing, we're going to jump you all the way to this level like you wanted. So we took her class for 1 month. We passed it. She jumped us over all these different levels and put us at the levels we were in high school even further. And I went, took the courses, passed those courses, and now I didn't need them, and I had passed all my courses I needed for college, and just started doing what I wanted to learn and was interested in. The problem is that you can't just sit there and not say anything. If even if it's your favorite teacher, you got to fight to get what you deserve. Jubilee, they do a lot of that. They went and they got a black thing. Are all blacks the same? And they had the white black, and I call them that because it's not a real. Their mentality is white because they want to be white. Then they got a Hispanic who wants to be white, and he's got the mentality the same way as a white man. He puts down his own race. Um, their mixture of people they're putting on the shows are really failing because no one's really willing to come out and say the truth. And then they put whites, and they really did tell the truth. It was a good episode. I even told them, great episode. They put in another group. They tried again and they reintroduced, and it was another good episode. Well, this episode, which is helping me here for this, was really bad. It really didn't listen to anybody. They said stuff, and the teacher was, oh no, that teacher said. But see, the point is the students not getting the idea that the teacher likes you. What the student is getting is a rock in the face, and then later on, the teacher says, oh, I love her, she's so great, and everything, and she thinks that she's helping the student by making her feel insignificant, but it doesn't motivate people to do better. Actually, it motivates people to fail, and that's the problem. It is motivating people to fail. It's just like where the kids are there finally give up. They go pick up a gun and they start shooting the people in the skull. The bullies, who happen to be the top students, are torturing those kids. They're pushing them and bumping them and everything, and the teachers are watching. And because this person's the best football player, this person's the best baseball player, this person is top cheerleader, they get away with murder. They are tearing this person down. The teacher doesn't say anything. The kids are laughing, except for his friends. And he's had enough. He's gone to his parents. His parents aren't doing anything because their parents used to be the bullies. And they think, oh, a little bit of drama, blah, blah, blah. It don't work that way for all the students. They don't feel safe. They got tired. They go get a gun. They go boom, 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 boom. And the point is that they go and they say, well, he just went crazy and was killing. No, he doesn't. They talk to a lot of the students, and the students tell them, well, those teachers were always siding with the kids that were bullies, and he told me not to go to school today. So he saw me on the way and he says, I thought I told you to stay home. And the person says, well, I was going to stay home, but I had a test. Well, don't worry about it. That test ain't going to happen. Go home. So they, on the way home, they didn't really think. They're kids. That they went over, and their friend is going with guns towards the school. But he saved their life. And he tells that to she tells that to the reporter. Other people tell that. They point out that the teachers are not stopping the bullies. They're actually laughing with everybody else, and no one listens. And at the end they say, a horrible thing happened and nobody knows why. Well, if you listen to the real whole report and the kids, what they said on that report, you know why. And that is part of the problem. That course still doesn't tell anything. And if they did, Jubilee did that again, and they would put teachers and how they feel there on those lines and ask those questions of teachers that they know are bad teachers and teachers that they know that are good teachers, and they put them there. And the problem is the Hispanic teachers, a lot of them except for a few, are against their own people. Black teachers, same thing. They look down on their students. The white teachers look down on everybody. And there are very, very few, but there are some really good teachers that don't see color. And they just are there to teach the students. The problem is finding those teachers and getting your children in those classes. Anyway, that was my point. The Jubilee thing, it's good, but 75% of the time it's failing. They're good questions, and even when they're barely reaching the end of that remark where it's going to get good, where everybody are going to start to talk, they cut them off and put another question. And you're like, but they almost got to the good part. So what you got to do is take it with a grain of salt. What can I say? Anyway, it's Manuel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Put the little hand up and say hi. And leave a message if you have a thought. I'll talk to you later. See you in church.